Going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the channel, An Outsider's Perspective. Now, sadly, I am reporting on another mass shooting from the US. This time around, it happened in Indiana on Sunday evening at about 6 p.m. or thereabouts. Now, the mass shooter went inside of a mall and went towards the food court and started shooting at people, maybe randomly, maybe the person had something in mind. Specifically, it could have been a racial thing, but we'll find out more details after I play you a clip of how the local news reports on this, because the mass shooter himself, the good news out of this whole thing was the mass shooter was gone down before they could do more damage. Now, to get more details and the background of what happened, let me play you the initial report from a local news station from the US, and then we will get into more details because I have a report from CNN that I want us to get into. Now, without further ado, let's check out the clip of the local news report now, shall we?
4 people are dead after gunshots were fired off tonight inside Greenwood Park Mall in Greenwood, Indiana. An official with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department says authorities there are sickened about another mass shooting taking innocent lives. Just after 6 Sunday night, shoppers stampeded out of Greenwood Park Mall, frightened for their lives.
We were at the food court eating. It was loud, so I didn't hear very much commotion of arguing going on, but gunshots started ringing out, probably about 20 of them.
Another shopper inside of the mall says he heard the gunshots after seeing a fight break out in the food court.
We were sitting in the food court, and I look out the window, and there was 2 kids fighting. And then we got our food and walked away. And we were around the corner, we heard 5 shots, and that's when just panic went and everyone started running.
Greenwood Police Chief Jim Eisen says 4 people, including the shooter, are dead.
It appears that he had a rifle with several magazines of ammunition, entered the food court and began shooting.
Chief Eisen says someone in the mall shot and killed the suspect.
It appears that a good Samaritan that was armed observed the shooting in progress and shot the shooter.
Multiple agencies, including the FBI, ATF, and Department of Homeland Security, are on scene investigating. Authorities say tactical units are also going methodically through the mall to make sure everyone is out. In addition to the 4 people killed, Chief Eisen says 2 others were rushed to local hospitals with injuries. He also says bomb squad units were called to the scene to investigate a suspicious backpack inside of the mall. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
Now, let's get further details from CNN. But before we get those details, I want you guys to understand that in Indianapolis, they now have a constitutional carry gun law that took effect sometime in June now. So law enforcement actually kicked against this law, but maybe because of this law, this shooter was unable to kill more people. So with that in mind, let's get more details from CNN. It seems like they are starting to maybe change their outlook upon things, but we will see how this translates into their reporting. If they actually report on this case on their primetime shows, but I sincerely doubt it. But anyways, let's get straight into the reports. But before we do, I want to quickly urge you guys to smash that like button down below. If you're yet to do so, it is massively important, and I sincerely do appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight into it now, shall we? Authorities revealed on Monday on the weekend mall shooting in Greenwood, Indiana, including the identities of the gunman, 3 victims, and the legally armed bystander who fatally shot the gunman. Shooting rampage took place at the Greenwood Park Mall around 6 p.m. Sunday. Multiple people called 911 to report the active shooter. 3 people died and 2 were injured as a result of the shooting. Greenwood is 15 miles south of Indianapolis. So the gunman was identified as Jonathan Douglas Zipperman, 20, who police said prepared for the shooting for a little over an hour in a bathroom before he emerged with a rifle. Greenwood Police Chief James Eisen said, "Now, I'm going to place the photo of the guy in front of you. Now, this guy is following the same description as all the other mass shooters that we've seen. They've all been in the same around the age of 18 to 21 or thereabouts, many more. Back in the days, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 90s, we used to hear about mass shooters, but these were middle-aged people going through middle-age crisis, people above 30, 40, 50. But nowadays, it's 18, 19, 20 years old that are committing this mass shooter. Is there something wrong, or is there something going on that is causing more and more young people to get into this mass shooting? Well, Who knows? Anyways, the victims were identified as an Indianapolis couple, Pedro Pineda, 56, and Rosa Mirena Rivera de Pineda, 37, and Victor Gomez, 30, who is also from Indianapolis. Honestly speaking, I might have butchered their name, and I'm seriously sorry for that. But I also want to say to these people that died, particularly, a couple died here. I want to say rest in peace to them, and I want to say my thoughts and prayers goes to their family. Now, when it comes to this names, they're all Hispanic, and it is strange that the three people that happen to have been shot by the shooter happens to be Hispanic. So I don't know if it is racial, but kudos to CNN on this report for actually not trying to propagandize this. I'm only saying from my own personal perspective that it could have been racially motivated. Who knows with these mass shooters? Many of them are wacko in my own opinion. But yeah, if you notice, they are following the same patterns. If you listen, if you actually looked into the Buffalo shooter and you read his manifesto, he had everything planned out, and they target specific places where they know that the gun laws are very strict. For instance, Buffalo shooter went into a mall, went into an area in Buffalo where he knew there were strict gun laws and there wouldn't be enough people to take him down. There wouldn't be enough people having guns that would actually be able to take him down. The same thing happened with the Uvalde shooting, elementary school. He went to an elementary school because he knows that anywhere else, if he tries that anywhere else in Texas, it would have been gone down before he could do any harm or do as much damage as he did at the Uvalde elementary school. Now, these people always have it planned, just like this guy had it planned for about an hour before he went out shooting, guns blazing and whatnot. About an hour planning. So, like I said, they always have it planned. The Uvalde shooter had it planned. He told somebody about his plan and he went and did it. Also, the Buffalo shooter had it planned and he had a manifesto to that effect. So I don't know if there is much that could be done about this more than this, but that open carry law simply came in handy, even though the guy was actually illegally carrying it inside of the mall, because the mall has strict policies of no gun carrying inside of it. Anyways, legally armed bystander who ended up shooting the gunman was identified as Elisjsha Dicken, 22, of Seymour, Indiana. Dicken was able to neutralize the gunman within 2 minutes after the gunman had already fired 24 rounds from his rifle. Dicken fired 10 shots from his Glock handgun. Now, this guy seems like he's been well educated in shooting. The way that it was all described, the way everything went down, seems like a scene coming out of a movie. Now, this is how the police chief described it. His actions were nothing short of a heroic. He engaged the gunman from quite a distance with a handgun, was very proficient in that, was very tactical, sound, and as he moved to close in on the suspect, he was also monitoring for people to exit behind him, Ison said. Many more people who would have died last night if not for irresponsible armed citizens that took action very quickly within the first 2 minutes of the shooting. Now, that seemed to me like a scene from a movie. Like, this guy knew exactly what he was doing. He was looking out for people. He fired 10 shots towards this person and he made sure that he gunned down this person. This is the same thing that a lot of people believe that the Uvalde police officers, myself included, should have done. Unquestionably, undeniably, there was no need for them to wait as long as they did, but this is what they should have done. But anyways, this guy did the right thing, and I am so happy that at the end of the day, the mass shooter didn't get to do more damage, because he could have killed 15, 20, 30 people in there, no questions asked, because nobody would have fired back if those laws were not put in place. So anyways, you guys, there's this argument that people always argue about, and I've had this conversation with a whole lot of people about these gun controls and whatnot. Now, I'm not totally against gun control policies, but I will say this, rather than just focusing on let's take away AR-15, that hands and feet kills more people than AR-15. Should you ban hands and feet as well? No, I don't think that's the solution. I think that what this guy did, because I sincerely believe that he has some strict gun educations, I think this is one of the ways to go, whereby, you encourage more people to go for gun education, go for gun program or educational programs. These are the things that government should be looking into, to training more people to be able to be have self-defense and protect themselves, and maybe ease up on the gun laws in certain areas, because the reality of the matter is that when it comes to the US, there are more guns than people. If you take away people's guns, do you think that the criminals, the people that are going to be perpetrating these acts, the nut jobs, are going to give up their own guns? Majority of these people are owning guns illegally. However, these shooters, these particular mass shooters, they acquired their guns legally. They couldn't wait till they were 18 to do what they did. But if they know that the gun laws are not as strict as they were, I don't think that many of them will go ahead to carry it out when there are enough people to protect themselves. I read about the story that happened in New York, I think about a month or 2 months ago, where this mass shooter opened indiscriminately into a party, and this hunty shot him before he could actually do any damage. Now, he hurt some people. Nobody died except for the mass shooter himself, but he was stopped by a good person with a gun. So there is good argument for, gun education so that people can protect themselves. And this thing keeps on reoccurring. I have many more stories I can talk about, but I don't want the video to extend too long. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that the guy that stopped this guy was a hero, or do you think he should have been arrested for carrying a gun illegally inside of the shopping mall? Because he was arrested initially, but then they released him when they found out the nature of everything that went down, and he is duly being termed as a hero by the police chief, Chief Ison. And I also sincerely think that he is a hero. Do you think he's a hero? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Till the next time I see you, take care, peace, and Saya's out of here. Bye-bye.